Kate, good morning. Oh, yeah. Whew, yeah. It appears to be snowing out. Definitely snowing. I should pack up and go inside. But it's so relaxing out here. Oh, as I was saying, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In my last video, I talked about the cryogenian period. So today I'm talking about the Ediacaran period. And while I do, we will be serenaded by the great Thomas Tallis, whose magnificent Mass for Four Voices you can hear in the background. No copyright violations here. Thomas Tallis has been dead for at least 400 years. That's a long time. In any case, yeah, the Ediacaran period. The Ediacaran was distinguished by the rise of a particular group of animals that I like to call the squishies. Which I call them this because, well, they were squishy. They had no hard parts. They had no bones, no teeth, no scales, no shells, nothing. They were soft-bodied animals that ate by basically sucking in food and absorbing it. And there were three distinct groups. There were the animals with branching symmetry, like Charnia, which I mentioned in the previous video. There were animals with radial symmetry, that is to say crinoids and other starfish-like organisms, and primitive corals. And there were the bilaterians, animals with bilateral symmetry. And bilateral symmetry means you have a distinct left side, a distinct right side, a distinct front, a distinct back, a distinct top, a distinct bottom, and most importantly, a distinct mouth, yeah, and a distinct butthole, which made them a little better than the animals with radial symmetry that had a central combination mouth-butthole through which they took in food and excreted waste. Fortunately, those creatures had not yet developed a concept of flavor, so they didn't have to suffer the consequences of their bad design. We, on the other hand, having separated the mouth from the butthole, set ourselves on the path towards the ability to enjoy flavors. Yes. Which I must say is a very important evolutionary step. Now, the bilaterians, who in particular I like to call the squishies, fed by going to the food, settling down on the food, and sucking in the food as they move their mouth part back and forth, and then moving on a little further, sucking in more food, moving on a little further, sucking in more food. And that was how they survived. And you survived also by getting big so nobody could eat you. Because if you were small, you could be eaten by people that were bigger than you. But since nobody had teeth, nobody could take bites out of each other. Which was good because nobody had shells either. And because nobody had bones, everybody looked like a dinner plate. Some were round dinner plates, some were elongated dinner plates, but they all looked more or less like a dinner plate. Some were smaller like a toast plate, or like an extended breakfast plate. Others were as big as a number 7 serving platter, which admittedly may not seem that big when you look at the African savanna today, but they were big for their time, definitely. And they were squishy. Did I mention that they were squishy? I will mention it again repeatedly. In any case, the Ediacaran squishies are most famous for a discovery site in the Ediacaran Hills of Australia. And it is here that scientists were forced to confront the fact that complex life existed before the Cambrian period. A fact which most of them just found absolutely fascinating because, well, yeah, that's how scientists work. You make a new discovery that upsets all their prior assumptions, they're like, wow! Scientists don't get into despair when they find evidence that says that they were wrong. They get excited. They get thrilled. It's like, wow, something new to figure out. Why did we make that mistake? What does the new evidence tell us? How do we have to adjust our theories and models in order to accommodate this? And most importantly, what's the coolest creature in this entire assemblage? Scientists are very big on the cool factor because at the end of the day, biological scientists are still very much little kids in a dinosaur museum. Still, they can be 50, 60 years old, and you throw them into the dinosaur museum and they just run amok because they are biologists. And they have absolutely no use for the concept of maturity or decorum. Believe me, I dated a biologist. She had no decorum whatsoever. Yeah. But I digress. The Ediacaran squishies show the body plan that we now associate with modern animals. As I said, they had a mouth end, they had a butthole end, they had a left side, they had a right side, they had a top and a bottom. And these parts were distinctive, and they didn't shift around over time. They were fixed. There was a fixed body plan. True bilateral symmetry. It works. If you doubt me, just go look in a mirror and ask yourself, how would I function if I had to eat and poop through the same hole? How would I function if I had to anchor myself to a rock and wait for the food to drift into me? How would I function if I was both male and female at the same time? How would I function? And I can almost guarantee you that the answer you will give is not very happily. There you go. Bilateral symmetry. We also invented happiness. Yes. Yes. Aren't we great? Absolutely. Every gorilla, chimpanzee, bumblebee, tarantula, shark, cod, ant, snail, and mouse among us. Every crocodile, every bat, every chicken among us. We are, can I be a little vain and conceited? We are the greatest because we are the bilaterians. Yes. Oh, and that also includes humans. Humans are part of that family. So, Ediacaran, bilateral symmetry, the first steps towards the great radiation of animal life that will come in the Cambrian period. But first, let us just enjoy the Ediacaran.